Hey, you guys, we're here with Danny from the Sober Spot. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
You just have so much energy. I love this.
Because I'm happy.
Have you always been this way?
No.
Okay.
No. People ask me all the time, like, why are you so happy? Like, how can you be happy like this? The deal is because I'm free.
Yeah.
I'm free. Mm-hmm. Not like I'm sober now and I'm free, shooting heroin, smoking speed, doing all that. I'm sober. No, I'm free.
Yeah.
Free from torturing myself.
Yeah.
Free from fear, free from anger, free from hate. I'm free.
I love it.
And it's like I truly believe that our natural state is when we were like children. Mm-hmm. That's like because they're fresh from source, or creator. They're innocent. Fresh, innocent, And children, I trip on children, and do children even need toys to have fun?
No, probably
no.
Not. Yeah.
No, they don't need toys.
No,
they freaking they're out there rolling down the grassy hill. They imagine they got a lightsaber, and life is. They're not tripping on life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They're just free to experience the present moment.
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it. Like for me, I grew up in Canada, and I was in the forest like every day as a little kid, just running around, climbing trees in the moss. I didn't need toys, and everything was so magical and new, which is honestly, now that you're saying that, that's kind of like how we should look at recovery. It's like everything's new and magical. Now we have this freedom.
We are reborn.
Yes.
It says it. We are reborn.
Yes.
That's how I feel. I feel like a kid again. Life is just this wonderful, amazing place that I could never see before. You know, like just going into Starbucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the guy, like the first time I ever had a pumpkin spice latte, I'm like, let me try one of those, and then you get the pumpkin spice latte, took a sip. Oh my gosh. And then I'm like looking for the barista and I found him. I'm like, hey, come here. High five. Boom.
I love it.
Like happiness and joy over a freaking cup of coffee.
It's so true though. Like all
in
those
the
little
present
things.
moment.
Yeah.
We got to be here.
Yes. So you've been sober for how long?
12 years. I picked up 12 years in January.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
January
2nd.
Okay.
2012.
Right on.
Yeah.
So your life before that, I would imagine, was awful for you to now be this amazing. It must have been a lot of doom and gloom back then.
It was
meaning when you're in the depths of your addiction, I should say.
Yes, it was trippy. I look back on it and the only thing I ever wanted was happiness. I wanted to be this guy. I'm the guy that I've always wanted to be. I'm not perfect. Fears, insecurities, problems, frustrations, but I can deal with all of them today. And that's what I've always wanted. But something was just odd in me, I was short, and it was just, and I talked really weird. And
was this as like a little kid? Like you felt it as a little kid?
Yeah, as a kid. And I always wanted to be more than what I was. Mm-hmm. So if I'm wanting to be more than what I am, and I'm always tripping on that, then I'm not comfortable in myself.
Yeah.
We gotta be who we are. We gotta be the project that we're working on. We have to accept ourselves. Yeah. And I wasn't accepting myself, so I got into drugs and smoking weed. I've done 10 90-day rehabs. I've done a bunch of detoxes. Yeah. And then 15 years of my life I spent in prison.
Got it.
And my life was but the weird thing about drugs and alcohol is I'm not gonna lie and say that it didn't bring me happiness. Mm-hmm. It really did.
Right.
I was happy when I'd be dope sick and someone would show up with a set. I'd be smiling and yes.
Different kind of happiness.
A different kind of happiness. I didn't know this kind of happiness.
Right.
I didn't know
real happiness.
The real.
Yeah.
But that was a foreign language to me.
Right.
The only happiness I knew was getting screwed up, partying, being with a bunch of weirdos, and just, this was my happiness. And everything else paled in comparison to that. Mm-hmm. Jobs, sober. And, part of the deal is I would go to these rehabs because this is a super important concept that it took a long time to find out, is that I thought that if I stopped drinking and using, I'm supposed to be happy.
Yeah, right.
I thought that the drugs and the alcohol was the freaking problem. And then I would go to a rehab. I'd fart around with the stuff a little bit. And I would get 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 18 months. And I never felt happy.
Yeah. So you weren't working a program. You were just dry.
Just
like what did it look like? Yeah.
Just dry. And I didn't understand why. But here's the deal. It's so simple when hindsight's always 20/20 when you look back on it.
Yeah.
It's an inside job.
Yeah, it is.
It's not, I just did this thing this morning talking about feelings. The most important thing to people are really feelings. And they always say, and I used to hear this weird thing, in counseling and therapy, like, hey, feelings aren't facts. Feelings aren't facts.
Right.
The fact is, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And my life looks like crap.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
Right.
The fact is, I don't feel great, and I'm going to do drugs to feel better. That's a fact.
Right.
The fact is, and then they say feelings aren't facts. I got a fact for you. You know what stress is, right?
Tell me.
Stress is where you're feeling like crap, and you're worried about everything. And you know what that does to your body? It produces cortisol. It produces these inner chemicals inside of you that make you depressed. And then it also has a physiological effect on your body. It starts wrecking stuff.
Yeah.
That feeling is a fact.
Yeah. And people don't think about that.
No.
They don't think about that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So for you, so you were out there for a long time, spent a lot of time in prison.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the final thing where you actually got sober and started actually working on that stuff on the inside?
It's so great. Awareness is key. Awareness. See, I wasn't aware of nothing. I couldn't see nothing. The only thing I could see is my screwed up feelings.
Yeah.
So awareness. And at 42 years old, I had gotten out of prison again. And I was on the bus. And, because I just did 3 more years. I'm on the bus and I'm calling my mom, because that's what tough guys do, we call our moms. And I go, hey, Mom, I just got out. I'm going to be home in a few hours. I'm on the bus. I can't wait to see you. It's going to be great. I got some jobs lined up. I am so sorry. Man, I'm never going back to prison ever again. I can't wait to see you. And she goes, Danny, I'm glad you called. I'm glad you're out of prison. And then she said, I have cancer. And I'm going to die.
Oof.
And you will never set foot in this house ever again.
Wow.
She said, I've watched your entire life. You've made 1 million promises, and you've never kept one. Not that I don't love you, but something bad's going to happen to you. You're going to die from a heroin overdose, or you're going to do something stupid and go to prison for the rest of your life. And I don't want you around the family when that day comes. Take care of yourself. And this is what my mother told me. That didn't stop me. 7 days later, I'm at a weird house with a guy right here in Costa Mesa, and I'm shooting heroin, and I'm drinking whiskey, and I'm plotting crimes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who we gonna? And I'm just laughing, and I'm just crazy. And then I looked over in the corner of the room, and there's this black trash bag in the corner of the room. You know what was in that? Everything I own. 2 pairs of pants that my mom bought me when I was in prison. Some hygiene and some deodorant that my sister got me from a package when I was in prison. And all these letters, because I saved all the letters that everyone was writing me. And when I was writing them, I was telling them all about how I was not going to go back to prison, how it was going to be different, how I was going to be, work hard and build a good life. And here I am acting and behaving the exact same way when I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
Doing drugs with a weird guy at a weird house, trying to freaking figure out how to steal money from my mom to buy some more of this. And now I'm 42 years old and I'm the same little kid.
Yeah. What a visual, first of all. Yeah.
I'm the same little, and that awareness.
Yeah.
I had become everything I never wanted to be. I didn't want to be a person that was 42, a man with nothing but a black trash bag. I didn't want to be a giant freaking failure. I didn't want to be emotionally wrecked, compelling to do something that I just sent me to freaking prison for 3 more years. I didn't want to be a deadbeat dad. I didn't want to be any of these things.
Yeah.
And I'd become everything I never wanted to be. So the big epiphany, I don't know shit because I don't have shit.
Yeah.
And I'd become everything I never wanted. Something is horribly wrong. And I thought I was smart. I thought I was intelligent. I thought I had hustle. I thought I had game. I thought I had all these. I read a million freaking books. And I'd become everything. And so all of my knowledge, I heard this quote the other day that said, knowledge is just a bunch of words that cover up our ignorance.
Boom. That's a good one.
I had all this knowledge.
Yeah.
But I'm ignorant because I can't apply any of that knowledge to my life to succeed with anything. And a lot of times people, I help a lot of people out there and on the daily, and I'll help somebody and they're like, hey, I still got my house. I still got my kids.
Yeah.
I still got a lot of money. I still got all this stuff. I still got everything. I'm not a giant failure. And I'm like, what do you want out of life? And that's a rhetorical question because I know what they want. They want happiness, joy, freedom, excitement, enthusiasm, purpose, meaning in their life. They want to love themselves, the life they have, and the little world that they live in. That's what we all want.
Yeah.
So you might have all that stuff, but are you happy inside?
Right. And that was my story because,
what I mean?
I had the house, I had the things, I had money, and it kept me out for so much longer because I was just trying to fool myself, the rationalizing but I'm okay. I have all these things. And it didn't mean shit. Because I was dead on the inside and completely miserable.
Broken.
Yeah.
See, just because my prison was the 5th tier of Folsom and I'm in my cell doing years and I'm shooting heroin and I'm drinking Pruno and I'm freaking a giant, miserable, emotional, freaking stuck failure does not mean that my prison is any worse or better than a housewife that is in her $1 million kitchen, drinking herself to death, losing her children, losing her husband, losing her family, losing her dignity, losing her joy for living. Her and I, we're in the exact same hell.
Yeah.
It's not the places, people, and things.
No.
It's an inside job. And people want to be, they think success is like money and like all these big things. But the deal is success does not always equal happiness.
True.
Because it's a common tale of the celebrity or the multimillionaire that frickin' has everything a human being can ever want. Millions of adoring fans, records, albums, houses in every frickin' country. And they wind up being so miserable, they take their own lives.
Yeah.
That's a classic tale.
Yeah.
But here's the opposite of that. Success does not always equal happiness. But happiness will always equal success.
Yes. I preach that. I always say, because for me, it's I'm always leading with my purpose and passion now. And I know the success will follow.
Boom.
Because I'm doing it for the right reasons.
Me too.
And it starts on the inside.
It starts on the inside.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it starts to become valuable. Just like, we found this secret. This secret is this. In order to become valuable, you must add value to others' lives.
Boom.
In order to be, if you're not useful to other people, you're useless.
Yeah.
I was useless.
It's so true.
No wonder why I was so screwed.
Yeah.
I was useless. I wasn't, if I was a zero value to my family and my friends, that might have been whatever.
Yeah.
But I wasn't zero value. I was negative 5,000.
Yeah.
I hurt them
Yeah.
financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I hurt them on every single level.
Yeah.
And that's so that's that's negative value. And when I'm negative, and when we're negative value to people, we have to get loaded.
For sure we do.
We have to drink.
We can't even sit in that.
It's not an option.
No,
it's the terror of actually seeing who we are. I'd rather drink. I'd rather get loaded,
Yeah. I was the exact same way.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because now that I'm on the other side of it, you know, people would always tell me when I first got sober, like, oh, you got to give back, you know, to keep what you got, you got to give it away. All these things. I'm like, what the fuck are they even talking about? Right. But then when I started doing it, it was like, I got everything I ever needed. Like my cup was just filled. And now today, I mean, I take it on a whole other level. Like, yes, I help people in recovery and I do that, but just being like a good human when no one's watching, just being kind and thoughtful and listening, like doing those things, the universe rewards you.
This is called love.
Yeah.
Love. Love is the answer. We all want the same thing. We all want to be loved. We want to be appreciated. We want to be complimented. We want to be held up. We want to feel comfortable. And the only way to receive that is by giving it.
Yes.
So when you start adding value, like telling people that you love them and helping other people, then the universe says, hey, you know what you are? You're a giver. Mm-hmm. Because you are a giver, the universe defines you as a giver, so the universe is going to give to you.
Yes.
But I had it backwards. We had it backwards.
Yeah.
We were takers.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and look at the table of life and like, oh my God, I got to get that. I got to get that. I got to get this. I need, I want.
Yeah.
And then I'm a taker.
Yeah.
The secret is looking at the table of life. What can I add to make this table better?
Yeah.
What do I have? I got $2, but I got 5 minutes to talk to someone that's struggling. Mm-hmm. Here's $1. Here's give me 5 minutes of my time to listen to what you're going through, and maybe, just maybe, there's something I could do to help you.
Yeah.
Buy you I mean, literally, people sometimes you don't understand that freaking 5 minutes of your time can literally mean the difference between life and death for an individual.
You never want to underestimate that.
No.
I never.
People in their darkest moments, before they're going to go blow their brains out, before they're going to freaking do something awful, think that this world is better off without them.
Yeah.
They think that there's no way. And 5 minutes saying, I don't know you, but I care about you. Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to listen to your story. And I know it's tough, but I promise I'm here for you. Mm-hmm. I'm here for you.
Game changer. So did you have that person for you when you finally decided to get sober? Like, what did that look like?
Okay, so, I just, when I was in that house and then through the grapevine, I found out a bunch of my friends are sober. I made a call, and my bottom was just confusion. You know what I mean? I'm just confused. That's my bottom wasn't like, I never want to do this ever again. I feel so, no, that wasn't it. I was just confused. Like I'd become everything I never wanted to be.
Yeah.
I thought I was smart. I thought I knew stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just confused. So they wound up saying, hey, Danny, don't trip. You got to call this freaking number right now. Listen, you got to get over there. We're going to get you over there. We're going to get you. We got a bed for you. You mean, don't make sure you answer the phone. You mean, and they just kept on me for like a couple hours. And the next thing you know, I'm rolling into this detox and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And they held my hand and they showed me. They said, do what we do. Do what we do. And I cannot deny the fact this was, I know I'd seen it 1,000 times before because I went to thousands of meetings. I've been in all these rehabs since I was 20 years old, but I cannot deny the fact that these people cared and were stone cold sober and good with their lives.
Yeah.
I seen this happiness, this shine that was on them. And they all had one thing in common. Mm-hmm. They got through all 12 of these steps, and then they help others.
Yeah.
I'll never say that the 12 steps is the only way to recover. There's a lot of different other ways to recover. It's just like martial arts. There's smart recovery, refuge recovery, cognitive behavior therapy. There's making a decision and then applying principles to your life. There's all different kind of ways, but you got to practice something.
Yes.
And the 12-step deal is, it's a martial art. You know, it's spiritual kung fu, just like all these other recovery methods. They're like spiritual martial arts, to where you feel so good about yourself. Someone says, "Hey, you want a beer?" Whoosh. No, I don't. I'm good. I'm good. You know what I mean? Hey, you want to smoke some joint? Whoosh. No, I'm good. You know what I mean? Someone get behind you want to do some heroin? Bam! No, I'm good. I'm good.
That's a good way to look at it. For sure.
It's a spiritual defense.
And did you come into the program spiritual? Did you believe in God?
Nope. Mm-mm.
So how did that work out for you?
Okay, so when I got my well, I heard this thing first on a panel, right? Some people came in, and I heard this most profound thing I've ever heard in my entire life. The guy says, "Hey, you know, the program isn't about putting the plug in the jug and now you're going to be happy. The program is 12 steps." And I'm like, what? I've been
confused again.
Wait. I've been to how many 12-step meetings have I been to? Probably thousands at that point. How many 12-step rehabs have I been to? 10. How many 12-step detoxes have I been to? How many 12-step panels have I listened to? And I've never done the 12 steps. So I got my sponsor, and my sponsor kept reaffirming, "You said you're willing to do whatever it takes."
Yeah.
And part of that spiritual, like, I don't know what God is, you know. I heard this quote that said, "The teacup of my mind cannot comprehend the ocean that is God." And I like that. But I could fill it up.
Yeah.
So we got to this, you know, this third step thing, you know, made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand him. So my sponsor, you know, I'd called him, you know, I get it, I'm powerless. We went through that, you know, and I get it that, you know, I need to have another power, because my power, I got a black trash bag. I'm confused. That's my power. If I want more than that, I got to have a higher power. So step 3, he goes, okay, I called him, and he goes, "You ready to do this third step?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So he comes and he picks me up in his truck. And I got in the cab of his truck, and then we go to Burger King. And he got me a burger, and he got me a pack of smokes, and he goes, "Okay, let's say this thing together." And I'm like, all right. We're in the cab of his truck, and he reaches over and he grabs my hand like this. Interlocking fingers. Okay. And we say this certain step prayer together. We go, "God, I offer myself to thee to build me, do the as I will." We say this prayer together, and he lets go of my hand, and he goes, "Okay, now I don't want you to go a day without hitting your knees and saying that third step prayer every single day."
Yeah.
And right then I balked.
And
I had to tell him, because I'd known this guy. We used to do drugs together and party together, and he had 14 years sober at the time. And I told him, I go, hey, here's the thing. I think, you know, I appreciate you taking your time. I appreciate you doing this stuff with me. That's super cool, but I don't believe in God. There's no magic man upstairs. Like, I've read all the freaking books, and the controversy between all these different religions and who's right and who's wrong. It's just crap, you know? So because I don't believe, I'm probably not going to hit my knees, because I don't believe. So let's do the reading. Let's do the writing. Let's do that stuff. And I'll get through it like that, you know? And, you know, he said some things to me. He goes, "You know, Danny, you to say that there is no God, that's your ideas. You not wanting to hit your knees, like, no, that's your ideas." And then he asked me some questions. Where is your happy family? Where's your happy life? Where's your home? Do you have a home? Do you have a car? Where's your key to any lock? You know, so just maybe, the solution to your life is being presented to you right now, but you can't see it because you're so full of your own ideas.
Yeah.
And then he goes, plus, when you asked me to sponsor you, I asked you, are you willing to go to any length? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to find victory over this thing? He goes, you told me yes. And then he said this, were you lying to me? Right then, this weird light bulb went off in my head, and I heard my mother's voice. She said, you've made 1 million promises, and you've never kept one.
deep.
I knew in that moment that if I can't keep my word to one person in this life, I will always be a failure.
Yeah.
I knew that. I mean, that's clear as day. If I can't keep my word. So I told him, I go, okay, okay. I'll hit my knees. I'll pray to a God I don't believe in. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Because, I'm willing. Okay. Spirituality is a muscle, okay? 2 things people been doing for thousands of years to improve their spiritual condition. 2 things, prayer and meditation. People that pray all the time and surrender to the Lord Almighty, and get in touch with that and read their scriptures, they know it's super badass and they do it and they're grateful.
Yeah.
People that meditate, I'm big into meditation, chakras, yoga instructor, all this shit. People that meditate all the time, and when you can just plug into the spirit of the universe and just breathe and just fill themselves up with the gratitude of the universe and the connection to everything and joy and peace and happiness, just because you have breath in your lungs. This improves our spiritual condition. This connects to the higher power, spirit of the universe, source, quantum field, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they know it's badass. People that don't do it, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, that seems weird. So the deal is with this like a muscle. It's like a muscle. So day after day upon my knees praying to this God that I didn't believe in, and I was very embarrassed to hit my knees. I come from a background, surrender never, victory anyway.
Yeah.
And so I was hitting my knees, surrendering to this thing, praying to the air, praying into my blanket, saying this weird thing and saying it super fast because I want to get it done.
Yeah.
God, if I'm so to build me, do man, so to my bond myself. Because I didn't want my roommates to walk in. Something was happening. I use this analogy that prayer is like a giant bowl of M&Ms. It's like I have 10,000 M&Ms in this bowl, and if I take one M&M out, do you notice a difference? Right. No. If I take another M&M out, you don't notice a difference. But day after day on my knees praying to this God I didn't believe in, one more M&M was coming out. One more M&M was coming out. And then my 4th step and my 5th step and continue prayer and continue meditating. The 7th step, 8th step, 9th step, handfuls of M&Ms were coming out of this freaking bowl. And I started feeling lighter and braver. And I wasn't tripping on things that I was always tripping on. And all of a sudden, like I felt good about being sober. And I felt ways that I never felt before being sober. And it was like, it's the great deliverer. I started feeling more confident, strong, less insecure and angry and pissed off. And then I found out what those M&Ms were. Anger, hate, fear, shame, guilt, inadequacies, low self-esteem, selfishness, pride. And I found out that that's what those were. And as I was doing this praying thing, in the beginning, I was very weak. But over time, it's like push-ups.
Yeah.
If you can't do one push-up, that's okay. But if you do them every freaking day, you're going to get stronger. So prayer and meditation is just like that. We're weak in the beginning. We keep doing them every day. So now whenever a negative conflict or emotion or feeling comes into me, whoosh, I can remove that. Where before it took days. Days to remove.
Yeah, that consistency of it. I always say that with anything, I'm big on manifesting things into your life and the power of positivity and all that.
Yeah.
But you have to have that consistency. Even when you don't feel it at the beginning, you just got to do it anyways.
The action doesn't care why you take it.
Yeah.
You could think that, this is why I'm a big, like the push-up thing is the exercise thing. I could think that push-ups is the lamest exercise ever. I could think that's stupid. I could feel like they're like dumb and feel like not doing them. But if I do them every day, it doesn't matter what I thought about them. It doesn't matter what I felt about them. It matters that I did them. And if I do them every day consistently, I will get stronger no matter what. That's how this program tricked me into having the greatest life ever.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to work. I felt like crap, and I didn't feel like doing it. But I did it anyway.
Yeah.
You do something, you'll get the results.
Right. So what do you say to a guy out there that's watching this and he's like, God damn it, I've been doing that for 6 months now and I don't feel shit. I'm about to just, you know what, screw this, I'm out. What would you say to him?
Okay, so the job, let's use this a different analogy. Okay, so the job is, you want solution to your life. You want to you want solution. The job is that you have to dig a trench 4 feet down, 8 feet, or 4 feet wide, 4 feet deep, and 30 feet long. How long does that take to dig? Okay, maybe 18 hours, let's say. Okay, that's the job. Okay, now some persons can be just super active. And they're out there digging every single freaking day. Or they're out there digging in 18 hours. They get the job done, right? Because they're working on the job like we're working on ourselves. So they're working nonstop. And then the job gets done. Another person can say, I'm doing this stuff. I'm digging the ditch every day, Danny. But the deal is they're only doing 1 scoop a day. 1 shovelful a day. Does this make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're saying, I'm doing it every day. I'm doing it every day. I'm doing it every day.
Yeah.
But are you really doing the work? And now the work is, are you, the happiest addicts and alcoholics that I know are the ones that are actively doing this thing. This is not this is not a spectator sport.
Right.
This is a participation sport.
Exactly.
And so are you going to the rooms? Are you raising your hand? Are you sharing? Are you getting a commitment? Are you shaking hands like you might have 9 days sober? Are you shaking hands to the guy that's got 1 day sober? Are you freaking in the freaking book?
Yeah.
Are you calling other alcoholics and addicts? You know what I mean? I hear this thing all the time where like, no one invites me to nothing. It's because they're not in the center of the pack. They're not reaching out to anybody.
Yeah.
And they're thinking that everyone needs to reach out to them, but they're not reaching out. I mean, this is a two-way street.
Yeah.
You stay in the center of the pack. Are you in the center of the pack? Are you talking to other addicts and alcoholics? It's like football. We are like football players. We play football. That's recovery. We play recovery football. And this is what we do. We like to play football because we like the effects produced by playing football.
Right.
People come into these rooms and they don't want to play football. They want to sit there and watch and listen. I'm not a big fan of that sit down and shut up thing.
Yeah.
But like, you mean they want to sit and watch and listen, sit in the back, not say nothing, don't call anybody, don't get any freaking phone numbers, and then sit around going, I've been going to meetings for 6 months.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been going to meetings for 6 months and I still feel miserable. But are you working? Are you finding, are you letting go of the past? Are you doing a thorough 4-step inventory?
Yeah.
Are you praying, meditating? You know, it's a, I can go on forever, but it's not just, you know, that triangle or, you know, a recovery. It's, you know, recovery, unity, service. You know, it's not one magic bullet. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just all like your personal recovery and prayer and finding your character defects and just like, you know, praying all the time, because you could be hungry and pray all day long in a closet and starve to death. You know what I mean? You know, you're not going to get fed.
Yeah.
You have to go out and participate.
Exactly. I literally was just talking to somebody about this that is struggling, you know, getting sober and staying sober. And the person's like, well, you know, I've been doing all this work. I see a therapist and, you know, I've done these programs, and it's like, okay, but something's missing. You're not doing all of it. You know, you have to do all of it. You think about like us and our addictions, we're 1 billion% in that, like in every way. Like we'll do anything to like get drugs, stay high in that lifestyle. We have to have the same approach in recovery. I was like that when I first got sober. I didn't know what AA was. I didn't know any of this stuff. Like I wasn't like a typical, well, no, say typical, but one of the people that was like in and out of treatment centers, AA, like I didn't know none of it.
Yeah.
And so I get sober and I'm told to like go to a meeting, and I was that person. I would sit in the back. I wouldn't share, or I would obsess on like what I was going to share. Because like I'm so important, right? This is all about me.
Yes.
That I would literally miss the whole meeting, and then I would talk shit to myself in my head all the way home. Like, you didn't even hear what they were saying. You just sat in the back. Why couldn't you get your head? And I wasn't getting healthy that way.
No.
Yeah.
Like shaming yourself.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you? Pull it together.
Right.
You know, it's just all it's just this constant. See, that's that's the thing, is this constant, it's this egoic mind that doesn't shut the hell up. And it says so much things inside of us that aren't true.
Yeah.
It says it just does not shut up. And a lot of it's because of the emotional state that you're in. So when you're feeling negative, you'll see something negative. We don't see the world.
Exactly.
We don't see the world as it actually is. And when we don't see it as it actually is. You see the world how you are. However you are, whatever condition your spirit is in, whatever qualities of spirit are inside of you is how you see the world. If you're negative and got fear and anger in you, this world looks horrible. You could be at Disneyland and and it's just not cool. You don't want to be there. You could be at the beach with all your relatives and everybody that loves you, but you feel horrible because you see that this moment is horrible.
That's such a good point. And to have the awareness to look at it like that, because it's so true.
It's true. We all have our world that we live in.
Yeah.
And everyone's that's why I go to a treatment center and I'm talking to everybody there and I'm like, this is, and I tell them that you see the world how you are, so that the room that we're in, one person in that room could be 30-year-old heroin addict with nothing. And the person next to him could be a 30-year-old heroin addict with nothing. Both of them. And one of them sees it as like, I'm so grateful I'm here. This is the most amazing experience ever. This is the greatest room ever. I'm so grateful. The person next to him, same situation, same circumstance, same freaking deal, can't wait to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Hates it. Hates every minute of it. So both of those are experiencing the same reality, but having two different realities. And is one of them right and one of them wrong?
No.
No.
Yeah.
They're both right.
Yeah.
There's 50 reasons, there's 100 reasons why this world that we live in is horrible and it sucks. And we could write them down on the wall and go, it sucks because of the government. It sucks because of foreign countries. It sucks because of the neighborhood. It sucks because of COVID and economy. And every single one of those reasons has merit and is truthful. Every single one. They're undeniable. There's also 100 reasons why it's freaking beautiful and amazing and awesome. And this place that we're in is just the greatest thing ever. And we could write those down.
Yeah.
And every single one of those has merit. It's your choice.
Well, that's it. We have the power of choice. I always say that, like, we can wake up every single day and change the way we look at something. And every moment we can decide. We can decide.
As human beings, but if we... I look at this like it is our decision, but in the beginning of our journeys, we are so infected with shame and guilt and fear and negativity. It's just like, if someone's having a bad day and you tell them, hey, calm down.
Yeah. No,
hey, turn that frown upside down.
They don't want to hear that shit. It took me a good 5 years of recovery to really start seeing it.
And then you found out that you have the power.
Yes.
We have the choice today to see a negative and switch it into a positive.
Yeah.
It's a positive.
Yeah.
This is adversity. I'm going to grow through this. This is going to be gnarly, but I'm going to grow through it.
Yeah.
We do. Here's something else is that, the buzzard and the hummingbird fly over the same field every day, and they both find exactly what they're looking for. What are you looking for? Are you looking for carcasses and crap, or are you looking for flowers?
Yeah.
They go over the same field every day. We're living in this same little world every day. What are you looking for? If it's negative inside of you, you're going to spot out all the negatives, and you're going to say, that's true. And it is true to you. But if you fill yourself with positivity and joy and you work this program to understand the negatives that are within you, that you have a capacity, you have a power to be able to release them instead of fight them and grow them.
Yeah.
When we fight our negatives, we grow them. We feed them and grow them. But when now through prayer, through meditation, through soul searching, through the program, you can release the fears.
Right.
Accept that those are there and release them. Let them go. Prayer, meditation, reflection, mindfulness. Let them go.
Yeah.
Let that shit go.
Yes.
We don't understand that we have that ability, but that ability is only through practice.
Right.
every ability, everything that anyone is good at, all sucked in the beginning.
Yep.
All of us sucked at the beginning.
Yeah.
We were big old victims.
Yep.
Victims.
So for you, because from what I'm hearing, you know, you were like the tough guy, you're in prison, a lot of ego, a lot of pride, you know, that whole thing, right? Like, I'm sure that guy even just holding your hand was like hard for you to do in the moment. How did you go from that to, you know, allowing yourself to, you know, be love, you know, embrace the spiritual, all those things? I mean, you know, the steps and of course all that, but that's like a real transition. Like for these guys that are still stuck there in that, like, I gotta know, like, I gotta be hard and fuck that. And like, how do you do that?
It turns out I was that guy from a place of insecurities. I had to I had to let nobody screw me over because I was hurt as a kid, you know? Had a tough dad. He was a cop. He was a private investigator. I came with his family, and it was very hands-on back then. It was very gnarly. And then at school, you might have got teased a lot. You know what I mean? So I got hurt. And then a couple relationships, I got hurt. So I'm not going to let nobody freaking hurt me. And I thought that not to let anybody hurt me, I had to be tough. And then I had pride and ego, and it was just me. And I'm looking at my life. And so now, because of that pride, because I was hurt, it allowed me to hurt other people and not even trip on it. And then I found out that that there was this pride where people were like, yeah, all right, you know? And then that fueled me with this identity. And it was all in my head, but I found out that I'm hurting people. I'm hurting people. See, I have this thing that's called, I was very, excuse the French, but I was very fuckwithable, okay? Back then. Like easily, I had giant buttons on me that anybody could push. Someone could look at me funny and it would push my button. A homeless person, a guy on the side of the road, the person behind the freaking desk somewhere. I mean, people could push my buttons and make me act like a freaking raging idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was a victim of them. They can all do it to me. Everyone in the world could freaking push my buttons. Say something funny to me. Say something weird to me. So I had to freaking prove that I'm not that freaking guy. But now I have a term today that has so much meaning to my life, and it's called unfuckwithable. And the definition of that is when you're truly at peace and in touch with yourself, that nothing anyone says or does bothers you.
Yeah.
And no negativity or drama can touch you because you're unfuckwithable. This is the peace that surpasses all understanding. This is like when conflict is raging all around you and you're like, all right, we just got to, you know, put our big boy pants on and freaking just let's get busy. You know what I mean? Let's get busy. This is all right. I mean, this is adversity. This is challenges. Let's just get through this. And then it turns out that kindness is a freaking superpower.
Yeah, it is.
Kindness is a superpower. It opens doors. It freaking gives opportunities. And then when someone's raging, saying a bunch of stupid stuff to you, trying to offend you, and you're like, I'm sorry you feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let it all out. They're there. You can yell at me all you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect at it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got fears and insecurities and problems, frustrations, but I aspire to be it every day.
And what does that feel like? Like, describe that feeling.
It feels solid.
Yeah.
Solid. Like it's a peace. It's a serenity. It's like serenity. Okay, what does it feel like? Like serenity, okay? Serenity, I've always been able to use it in a sentence. I mean, most of us can. Like, you could tell if someone screws up the word serenity. You know what I mean? It means like peace. It means calm. It means blowing trees in the forest, you know? Serenity, right? Everyone knows that. They know the definition of it, but comprehend it? I never could comprehend it because I never had it. Serenity means that I got problems, frustrations, challenges, difficulties, all kinds of circumstances in my life, but I accept them all. Every one of them. Bring it, all of it, because I will get through it no matter what.
Yeah.
I will welcome the challenges of life and I will overcome them, not from a place of but from a place of like, yes. From a place of, this is serenity.
Yeah.
It's being solid, being dependable, reliable, keeping your word, doing the best you can, not screwing yourself, full of self-pity and a pity party and fuck my life. You mean, But this is how that feels. I didn't know it was possible to feel. I've never been sober feeling this way, ever. I've been sober many, many, many times, and I never felt like this.
Yeah.
It's clear. It says, after doing these steps, after having a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. It says it right there.
Yeah.
But I just didn't believe it.
Yeah. And
I didn't believe it.
Exactly. Weren't in acceptance of doing it. That's for sure.
No.
Why do you think people just keep going out? Like, what is going on? What is actually going on?
Okay. Some people have. This is my opinion. My professional opinion. From where I've seen in this thing, I believe that people relapse for one reason, because this has been my experience, because they're not happy enough sober.
Yeah.
Life is not satisfying enough sober. Maybe not happiness, but at least satisfying. And if life isn't satisfying sober, if life isn't enthusiastic or has meaning and purpose to you while you're sober, we have found, we're all hardwired for a thing called happiness, okay? We're hardwired for that. We all want to be happy. All of us. That's like the meaning of life, really. Enlightenment, nirvana, moksha, salvation, whatever you want to call it. Redemption, whatever you want to call it. Happiness, a feel-good state about who you are in the life you have. So people relapse because they can't find that being sober. And that's why I always relapse, because if I can't get happiness out of being sober, I'm going to get happiness with that first shot of heroin.
Right.
And I like that feeling. I like that feeling. And everything's going to shit, but I like the feeling of injecting myself with heroin. I like the feeling of smoking speed. I like that feeling. Even if it's going to devastate my life, it doesn't care. At least I'll get 2 minutes of relief, and I'll take that ride, because if you can't get happiness in sobriety, you're going to get happiness in the spoon and the freaking bottle, and even if it doesn't bring you happiness, you're still going to try to find it in there, because we all want that. We all want the same freaking thing.
Yeah.
That's why people relapse.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be happy sober if you don't work some kind of a program.
Yeah.
It could be Refuge for Recovery, Smart Recovery. It could be whatever, but you got to work with a program. You got to work to something that's not your mental ideas. It's coming from a place of freaking infection.
Absolutely. You got to work that program, and you got to find things that you enjoy doing.
You do.
You got to.
You do.
Like for me, I came from a totally different background. And when I got sober, I knew that I had to walk away from life as I knew it, start over completely. And for me, it was working in this field. I just felt called to it. God put it on my heart. You need to help others, turn your negatives into positive. But it could be different for someone else. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's something creative. Like, you need to find those things. Because I deal with a lot of people too. They get sober and they're like, okay, I'm sober, but I'm just doing the same shit every day still.
Yes.
Like, what's the point? And it's like, no, you got to dig deeper and deeper. Figure out who you are underneath it all.
You have to let your demons out. You got to let your negativities out. You have to find, we all have a paintbrush, and it's how we all paint. Every day's a blank slate. And, I do this in the groups, and I go, like, let's say God is going to come to you in your dream, and he says, hey, you're going to wake up in like 5 minutes, right? But I want to let you know something. Tomorrow's a blank canvas, and I'm going to tell you about these magic brushes. He's like, you have this brush bucket here, and this is laughter and joy and happiness and confidence and security and peace and understanding. He goes, this magic brush bucket is that. You can use that tomorrow. If you want to use that, you can. He goes, oh, wait, hold on. But I got to tell you about the other bucket. I just got to tell you. I know you don't want it, but I got to tell you about it anyway, because it's my job. So this other bucket over here, it's the colors aren't very bright. It's anger and fear and frustration and being pissed off and boredom and, all these negative colors, and they're dark colors. He's like, you can use that tomorrow if you want to, but so which one do you want? Everyone goes, I want the happy bucket. And all of a sudden they wake up, and all of a sudden, like, oh my God, where's my shoes? I can't believe that person's calling me. You know what she said yesterday? Can you believe what she said? Oh my God, my employer at my work. And then all day long, they're like painting their freaking day with all this
So
crap.
true. Yeah, it's so true.
And then at the end of the day, God goes, hey, let me see what you did. I'm not done with it yet.
It's so true.
Like,
though.
what happened?
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We don't know that we're poisoning our days. We don't know. Resentment is a poison that we're drinking. Anger, hostility. And then people have it confused. They think to stand up for themselves is they have to get angry and hateful. That's not standing up for yourself. That's poisoning yourself. Standing up for yourself is allowing the world to behave and act. You make boundaries. You do whatever you got to do to protect your own happiness and well-being.
Yeah.
You want to breathe.
And that's so important for people to hear, and applying it is so hard, but people need to hear this because, yeah, I mean, even just bringing it down to just like road rage, right? Let's just use that as an example.
Yeah.
People will literally think like a few people, I won't mention any names. Well, that person deliberately cut me off. They're doing that to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they're not.
No, they're not.
They're not. And just be able just to let stuff go. You know, just let it go.
How important is it really?
Control. You're giving them control.
You become the world's victim.
Yes.
You become a victim of the world. You wake up and you become the world, and then you get in the habit of, you get addicted to the negative mindset.
Absolutely.
And then so you see two assholes one day and you're like, that guy's, and then the next day you see three. The next day you see five. And then the next day you're looking for nothing but assholes all day long. You're going to find what you're looking for.
And then before you know it, you're surrounding yourself with those people because misery loves company.
Misery loves company. And then you're trying to understand why my life sucks.
Yeah.
Because you are the author. This is your life. You are in control of your life if you can make the decision to stop blaming people, stop freaking not accepting any responsibility. If you're blaming people for your unhappiness, then that means you have to wait for them to change in order for you to be happy.
Yeah.
And you have to, and that way you have no power.
Yep.
You have no solution. You have nothing.
Yeah.
If you're waiting for a circumstance or a situation to make you happy, then you have no power to make your own self happy. And that's just wrong. And then you wind up becoming a victim of the world. You know what I mean? You wind up poisoning yourself. You wind up being angry and frustrated and fearful.
Yeah.
And then, so you're a victim instead of a victor.
Yeah. It's these simple acts, right, that are so hard to do at the beginning. But if you just apply these principles just every single day with that consistency, your life will get better. You will get happier. The right people will align with you. The promises come true.
The promises all of them come true.
They do.
We compare ourselves, I believe this, that people are really inherently good. You know what I mean? Because we all want love. We want it, but then we get so broken and we start hurting people and doing horrible stuff,
Yeah.
So when we have lived in darkness for so long, self-pity, shame, guilt, fear, pride, ego, we lived in these weird dark places for so long, the light doesn't look cool. And then when you get into the light, it's not what you're used to. So it's awkward
For sure.
and weird.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. And then the further you walk into the light, then you'll get into this place where you don't feel like you belong there. And you don't feel like you're good enough to walk into the light. And then you feel like that you need to go back to where it was dark. And then in those dark places that we lived, like I look back at my life and I'm going to be honest, is that when there's moments in my past where I've had enough drugs in me, I have this like sweet spot to where I had enough heroin and speed and just, drinking and just had enough money and a place to live and, a car. And there's this little sweet spot where I'm just feeling really clear and good, but that sweet spot turns out to be about 10% of my life.
Yeah.
90% of it is just going through all this crap to find this sweet spot.
Yeah.
And that sweet spot will never sustain. So that when you're walking into this new light, this new life, the mind is only going to remember those sweet spots as its happiness. So it'll want to go back into the crap to find that moment, that 10% moment. Because that's the only happiness I ever really knew was when I was really partying, really like having a good time, and when it was working out for a minute.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have any, life was gray without that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You know?
So you've come very far. We're now 12 years.
12 years.
Into your recovery.
12.
How is your life now? How is your life now?
Oh my God.
Tell us about your life.
Okay, so I'm a counselor. I'm an interventionist. I started a foundation about 2017 where we've helped hundreds of people. You know, I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a son. You know, this is I'm a million different things.
Yeah.
You know, like all day long. You know, I'm a sponsor. I work with my guys. I'm a business owner. I do, you know, but those are just all, as we walk through this life, these are just all things, you know, that whole trying to find yourself. You ever hear people trying to find themselves? I got to find myself. I got to find, you know, truth is, I feel that you'll never find yourself because we're so many different things. Like right now, you are a podcast host, okay? When you go to Starbucks, you're a patron. When you're walking down the street, you're a pedestrian. You know what I mean? When you're wearing Adidas, you're an Adidas wearer. When you're, you know what I mean? We're a million different things all day long. So when we try to pigeonhole ourselves, I need to find myself. There's no freedom in that. Because if you label something and you label something, you negate all the other possibilities of what that thing could be. So how's my life today? The most, I got two things that are super important to me, just paramount, that I'm going to do. At the end of my life, it's not going to be defined how much money I make or how much houses or cars or businesses. It's not going to be defined by that. It's going to be defined by how many people I've helped in this life. Because I have found the secret to life. The secret to life is service. Yeah. Serving others. That's a secret to that's the secret to life. And I read this letter years ago. And it was from King George III in the 1800s. And he wrote this letter. It was a historical fiction, but at the bottom of this letter that he was writing to this merchant in this village, he signed it, "Your humble servant, King George III." And I thought, why are you signing it, "Your humble servant," to the townsperson that's beneath you? Right. Like what is that just some nice thing to say? But if you think about that deeply, the greatest leaders on the planet, the ones that have gone down in history as great, they all have one thing in common. They put the welfare of the people ahead of their own. They serve the people. They think about the people, and they serve, and that's what makes them great. That's where you find meaning in life, when you serve people. The more love that you give to this universe, the more love that you become. The more that you get there, the more that you become a leader that serves himself, by himself, for himself, with himself, and trips on himself all day is a tyrant. Yeah. A miserable leader. We must give. The more love you give, the more compassion that you give, the more time that you give, the more that the universe gives back to you. Yes. But there's a lot of problems sometimes with, like, you know, some people in different relationships too. They say, you know, I have people that come in and like, I give everything to everybody all the time, and then I just get shit on. You know what I mean? I give all the time. I give. But see that you're people sometimes give from a place of people pleasing. Yes. They're doing other people's will. They're giving from a place of they want them to like them, or they want to make them feel better, Yeah. They're doing it for other people. They're not doing it for self-esteem purposes. They're not doing it for value. They're not doing it from a place of no expectations, just to give, to make things better.
That's the big one. No expectations.
No expectations. That's a hard one. Yeah. I struggle with that sometimes because I'll help some people and they're like, make all the promises in the world. Yeah. And then the next day they're loaded in my bathroom, you know, getting yeah. No expectations, but you got to go.
Yeah.
You know, hey.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
It's a hard
Expectations, you know, brew resentments. It's so true. That's why I try not to expect anything from ananybody. No. You know, and life is so much more beautiful that way.
It's way beautiful. Yeah. The ups, the downs, the problems, the frustrations, the things, you know, and it's all okay. Yeah. It's all okay. All of it. Yeah. And before I'd go around and go, that's wrong, that's not right, that's wrong, you're wrong, I don't like this, I don't like that, and I would just go around and point out everybody's flaws with the problem with everybody, and I would sit there and just like, that's wrong, that's not right, and then I would just, ride away on my little bicycle at 38 years old.
Because you knew everything, obviously.
I point out all the problems everywhere. That's not it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
We need problems. We need challenges in our lives. We're not going to grow. My prayers today, the hardest prayers that I do today and the greatest prayer is thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. When I'm going through something difficult, thank you for this opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you for this challenge. Thank you for this situation, this circumstance, this relationship. Thank you so much because I know I will be stronger through it.
Yes, that gratitude. I do that all the time. If something's going wrong, I switch it up and get into gratitude every single time.
Thank you.
And then it's not what I thought it was.
No.
It never is. Just being able to let things go or let things be as they will, not trying to control. The more we try to control, less control we have. And just leading with real, authentic love and kindness without expecting anything in return.
Love and kindness.
Yeah.
Not serving other people because you expect them to act a certain way.
Yeah.
That's premeditated resentment.
Yeah.
You serve people just because it's the right thing to do. And like my first 15 sponsees that I got a year sober and I started sponsoring people, like they all got loaded.
Yeah.
And then I would have said, I suck at this, but I kept doing it and it kept me sober and it kept me, and it worked on my patience, love, tolerance, worked on it difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But these are super brave qualities of character. It takes courage, like patience, love, and tolerance isn't like, I'm just going to love everybody. I am so tolerant of that. I have the patience of Methuselah. Like, no problem. Like, that's not it.
Yeah.
It takes courage to be patient with the impatient. It takes courage to love the unlovable.
Yeah.
It takes courage to tolerate the intolerable. Courage is primary.
Yeah.
And to be able to okay, this is happening. One of my mantras is, everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to happen.
Absolutely.
Everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to happen. If shit is terrible and difficult, it's happening because I have a lesson to learn.
I say the same thing.
Everything's happening exactly how it's supposed to happen. It's acceptance of my life.
Yes.
This sounds crazy. I say this all the time, but you are perfect just the way you are.
Yeah.
Now people go, what are you talking about? I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm overweight. I'm out of shape. I'm strung out. I'm this. I'm that. I'm not perfect. But what they get it confused with is perfection. Perfection doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay. But perfect is like this. You got a mechanic, a master mechanic that can just build cars just awesome. And he has it in his mind that he wants a 57 Chevy. So he's calling places, can't get it. Finally, his wife comes in and says, you know what? I found a 57 Chevy for you. This farmer has it. So he's like, let's go. So they go to the farmer's house, knock on the door, and the farmer goes, yep, I got a 57 Chevy. It's out behind the barn. So they walk out behind the barn, and there's a 57 Chevy with corn growing through it, no tires, no motor, rusted, sitting there and just dirty and broken as hell. And the mechanic looks at it and he goes, perfect, perfect. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That is we are all perfect projects. We must accept the project, accept what life has to offer, accept it, saying yes. But what most people do is they complain about the project, walking around the car going, look, it got no wheels. Look, that's so horrible. Look, it's got rust. I'm going to tell everyone about the rust. I'm going to tell everyone about how bad my life sucks. I'm going to tell everyone that wants to hear about what I'm going through, but no solution.
Yeah.
Instead, we accept ourselves as perfect projects. I'm a perfect project to always be worked on.
Yeah.
Because we're always going to work on ourselves.
I just need him in my pocket. Honest to God, everybody should have one of you, just following them around every day, just to switch it up. Oh shit, yeah, that's how I'm supposed to be looking at it. Oh, this will be so much better now. Those little buttons.
Yeah, little easy button, and I just pop out.
There he comes.
You got
Yay.
this. You got this.
But thank you so much. I mean, just for being who you are and just helping so many people that you've helped. I want to ask you a couple last questions.
Okay.
If someone's out there and they're feeling really triggered, they're having cravings. I mean, I know it might sound simple, but what do you say to that person?
Listen, this is super important. Super important, okay? There are millions of people around the planet. There are rooms of AA, NA, CA, CMA. There are rooms with people that are in there that truly care.
Yeah.
There are people that truly care. Like if I'm in a meeting and you're one of these ones that have cravings, triggers, and you're just feeling like you're just going to go off the freaking deep end, and I see it all the time. I'll see a person in the rooms raise their hand, go, I have one day and I don't know what to do. Boom! I will be there, shaking your hand, telling you, listen, we're going to get through this, okay? But we cannot do this ourselves. You know, there's all these little practices and like just think of something positive and just, you know, just hold on, hold your breath. You mean, right? You must get with people that understand what you're going through.
Yes.
I promise you, it's not... You might see someone that looks different than you or has been to different places than you, but I promise you the thing that we all have in common is we all have felt exactly like you, going through it. 6 days sober, 5 days sober, just needing to do something and just trying to hold on. That's when people in these rooms will gather around you and just hold on to you.
Yeah.
And if you go to a meeting and you share like that and no one gets at you after the meeting, I want you to come see me.
There you go.
I want you to come see me.
And how can someone find you? How can someone find you?
Okay, you can go to standingunited.org. That's my foundation, standingunited.org, and then go to messages or email, and you can contact me that way. Or standingunited17@gmail.com. You could go that way and just shoot me an email, and I'll respond.
There you go.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you some other questions, but I feel like the answer is probably the same for most of them. You know, if someone's going through a situation, they're feeling a lot of guilt and shame, or they're having a hard time with forgiveness, all these things that keep us going out, right? And keep us isolating. I mean, the answer is go to a meeting, talk to somebody.
Talk to somebody.
Right?
Don't just sit there.
Yeah.
Because you'll sit there, and if you don't share or you don't participate, I know for me, I would sit there and I would just analyze everybody, think about everybody, seeing all the differences in the room, and I would leave, or I'd come back 3 times in a row and not meet anybody. So it takes bravery, it takes courage to reach out. The solution is people that were once like you, that have found the way out, that have felt like you, found the way out. Get with them. Because no one of us is as strong as all of us. Together we could do this, and isolation is the worst counselor ever.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you want to have a bad day, keep thinking about yourself.
Exactly.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're amazing. Wow, I'm all pumped up. I'm good for like a good month now. All right, you guys, we'll see you next time.
All right, thanks.